Derek Gould indicated the other day when we had him on, indicated the other day that, the Cardinals were, working on some stuff, and they hoped to maybe do something this week. Derek didn't rule that out, that they would do something this week. And that makes sense because I think a lot of teams like to have their business taken care of, right before Christmas. And that doesn't mean that that's it. But, it's if you got some big things in mind or a big thing in mind, it'd be nice to get it done. And, the Cardinals got to jump on the market. And I understand why relief pitchers have been slow to come off the market because there's so many of them. And people are waiting for, Hader. They're waiting to see what he gets. They're frankly waiting to see. You don't think Jordan Hicks is waiting to see what Josh Hader gets on the open market?
Yeah, it's so true.
Jordan Hicks is a very, very, very popular target now, as he should be. He's 27 years old. I was reading a piece by Eno Saris at The Athletic, who is outstanding. And he was talking. In fact, I'll read this to you later because it's a good note. And also there's a note in there about Sonny Gray. Because Eno does this thing where he is the pitch guy. I mean, Eno Saris is the expert when it comes to analyzing the quality of individual pitches. So he had a thing today where he gave out a gold medal in gold, silver, and bronze in every type of pitch for 2023.
Right.
Sonny Gray was the gold medal winner with the sweeper. Because, and I've talked about it, I've written about it, his sweeper was devastating to hitters in 2023, and that's why I laugh at the people say, he's all right. Yeah, he's all right. Now he's a little better than that. He came up with a new pitch, and even though he's still a young man at age 30, it's given him a tremendous asset, a new asset to use against hitters. And I'll read you what Eno Saris had to say about that. But he rated Jordan Hicks, I think it was a bronze, maybe not the silver. Jordan Hicks, in terms of the sinker, the two-seam fastball, he had him in the top 3 in the majors, and talked about what a great time it is for him to be a free agent because Hicks is finally coming to his own, which is really weird because the way things started for him in 2023, it was a disaster. But he pulled himself together, and he was really good in that month or 5 weeks or 6 weeks before they traded him to Toronto. And that's one of the things that's frustrating about, in a way. I understood their approach at the trade deadline. I'm not going to flip-flop on that. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do. There's no guarantee they were going to be able to re-sign a couple of those pitchers they traded away, simply because they're not committed to swimming in the deep end financially.
Right.
It's as simple as that. Seriously.
It is.
You don't have to go beyond that. This is their track record, and it's been their track record for a very, very lengthy period of history. They're not going to say, well, we'll get Montgomery signed. Oh, we'll get Hicks signed. No, they knew what was coming. They knew what the price would be if they tried to re-sign their own free agent. And so they said, no, we better trade him. And it's kind of a damn shame. I'm explaining. I understand this is who the Cardinals are. This is what they do, and apparently they're never going to change. When we talk about premium prices for elite pitching or even very good pitching, they operate as if it is in fact still like 1996 or something. So it's really a shame. But it's a shame because you say, well, boy, they could use another starter. Well, they traded one to Texas. Oh, boy, they could really use a hammer in the bullpen. Well, they traded one to Toronto.
Absolutely.
And again, I approve of those trades. I get it. If you're not going to sign them, and technically speaking, you still would have a chance to re-sign them, but you had the added bonus of trading them and sort of filling up your empty pitching prospect bin. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the best of both worlds. You make the trade, you trade them away, you pick up some pitching prospects, and Thomas Sagasay, that really good hitter from Texas. And then, if the Cardinals were wired differently, if they were a different animal, they would re-sign those guys anyway. Or they'd be, but that's not who they are. But it's a shame. So it's really interesting when, you had two guys with you that really fill a need. And now the need, because you traded them, there is an open hole in the rotation and there's an open hole in the bullpen. You had the guys. So it's kind of going around in circles.
I was hopeful, I should say, that they would explore the Jordan Hicks return a little stronger than they have thus far.
Maybe they are.
They might. But the longer this goes, the longer I'm thinking, well, that's more opportunity for others to get involved and offer more money. Because I don't think the Cardinals, they're just not going to offer top dollar to keep anybody or to bring anybody in.
They're going to have to show that they are willing to do it.
They need to, but I don't know if they will.
No, I agree. Well, that's the point. I mean, there's no reason to believe they'll do it until they actually show us that they would do something like that. Been waiting a long time on that.
And the reason why I say that about Hicks is I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but there was enough noise right before the trade that they were exploring an extension with him towards the end of the end of the month in July. It's like, well, there's interest from the Cardinals. It seemed like there was some interest in Jordan in discussing staying with the Cardinals and getting some kind of deal done. It never happened. They moved on. But I thought, well, maybe that's a little something for down the road after the season ends. Maybe both sides can get together. Maybe they still can. They desperately need a right-handed guy out of that pen with some strikeout ability. And, Hicks would kind of fill that void. It would also give you some familiarity with something that in that pen that you've had before. I don't know. Maybe that's just a pipe dream. That would be something the Cardinals would be interested in, just because, hey, we know this guy. We've seen him before. We know what he can do. We've seen him grow, and he did very well at the end of last year. With the Cardinals, well, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I just don't know if they're going to upbid anybody to get anyone, which is sad.
So we were talking about the Baseball Writers Association dinner. I will get you that information as far as how you can get access to tickets, because it's going to be really special. Wainwright's worth the price of admission, because he'll put on a show, and he'll be funny, and he'll have a lot of great things to say. He was terrific, I thought, at the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame induction. And, again, he only had 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, but he was really good. He's very engaging. Hell, he'll probably even give a concert or something. So, I mean, and then you're going to have all those good things to bid on for a good cause. So the winter warm-up, and, that's going to start. Tickets are on sale now. The one thing that's interesting, I'm not reading too much into it, but the Cardinals themselves put out a release about it. The players that are scheduled to sign at the event.
Yep.
And, it's a lot of names. I don't see Arenado there. I don't see Goldschmidt there. I'm pretty sure we'll see Goldschmidt there. The Arenado thing's interesting to me. I guess they're trying to nail down a date or something.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would think he would be top priority on that list, though.
It's a strange time in Cardinal Nation. It's kind of a strange time.
Very much so.
But Cardinals fans will get a chance to meet Sonny Gray and Kyle Gibson. And I said it at the time they signed Gibson. I'll say it again. Cardinals fans are going to love this guy. And they're going to love Sonny Gray. And they already love Lance Lynn. So evaluations of their pitching quality, value aside, I mean, they've brought 3 guys in who are first-rate guys. And in Lance Lynn's case, he's necessarily like grumpy and a curmudgeon, and that's actually a positive because they need that. So they've brought in 3 personalities that are really appealing, and I think that'll help things. I do.
A question from the text line says, Bernie, have the Royals embarrassed the Cardinals by what they've done with their signings this year across the state?
No. I mean, I've taken note of it and made fun of it a little bit as far as the Royals trying to steal their thunder. The Royals need to try to spend some money and get players in there, because they have basically abandoned that quest since it was the year after they won the World Series. They were still pretty good, and since then they haven't done anything as far as trying to improve the team. So I'm always reluctant to go there, because if it's a serious question, I'm reluctant to go there. Why would the Cardinals be embarrassed by the Royals, who once every 5 or 6 years, in some cases once every 10 years, they actually try to add to their roster?
That's a good point there.
I appreciate the fact that their new owner seems to love baseball, and they have been aggressive. But I don't know. Have they spent more money than the Cardinals have this winter? I don't think so. I could be wrong. But again, it's just it's kind of a loaded question because if I wanted to be, I could immediately turn it around the other way and say, well, there's the last team to win a World Series and play in a World Series. In fact, play in 2 World Series is over on the other side of the state. The Royals were in the World Series 2 times. Cardinals were in the World Series in 2013. Since then, the Royals have been in the World Series twice, and they've won a World Series once. So when you look at it that way, maybe the Cardinals are, in a way, chasing the Royals. See, I can have fun with it both ways,
Yeah, you can.
But again, I don't think they've embarrassed anybody yet because, number one, the Cardinals aren't finished. And number 2, the Cardinals did address a pretty damn serious need. And I know, listen, forgive me, I know they didn't get, I know everyone thought that the 3 pitchers they were going to be, Yamamoto, Snell, and Aaron Nola. I know that. Everyone's had that all set. That was who it was going to be. Where there was maybe a 1% chance that even one of those guys would sign here, But they filled some innings, and they got guys who can give you quality starts, and that stuff really is important despite what you may hear or see on the stupid corners of social media and other places, So,
yeah.
I'll just talk about innings. I'll just talk about quality starts. Humbug.
Those innings and quality starts sure showed, what'd you have, like almost 70 winning percentage?
Oh, yeah, well, since you asked.
I mean, that still is an amazing stat that needs to be
I did a little more
there.
on this morning.
Okay.
Because I keep getting a kick out of the people say, well, Bernie, his quality start thing's meaningless. It's a garbage stat. It's junk. It's nothing. A bunch of bored nerds made it up. Okay. So I guess if I do some research on that, then it would prove those people right. The people tell you it's junk, it's meaningless, it's made up, it means nothing. So me, I say, well, I'm willing to consider any opinion. Let me do a little research to see who's right. The people like me who say, yeah, there's a lot of merit. There's a significant difference in your chances to win if you get a quality start than if you don't. So we'll see who's right about that. And I know, like in America, it's not really fashionable to rely on facts anymore. I get it. People make up their own facts.
Yes,
I get
they
it.
do.
But I go to Baseball Reference and everywhere else, and I think that's a fair arbiter. So since the beginning of 2019, the Cardinals are 186 and 74 when they get a quality start. So that's plus 112. If you add up the wins and the losses, you say, okay, well, what's the win differential?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 112 when they get a quality start. You know what the win differential is when they don't get a quality start?
What's that?
Last 5 years, minus 68.
Gee whiz.
Let's see. Now, I flunked algebra, too. I don't know. This isn't exactly algebra. So, quality start, you're basically a plus 112 in terms of wins or losses. Plus 112. When you don't get a quality start, you're minus 68. Now, I'm not sure what those really smart, he said sarcastically, those really smart people are seeing there, insisting that quality start means nothing. I don't know. I would prefer to see the team that, if I were a Cardinals fan, I'd prefer to really see a lot of quality starts and actually have an emphasis put on quality starts because there are 112 games in the win 112 games 112 games better off when they get one compared to minus 68 if they don't get one. I mean, does it get any more conclusive than that?
Absolutely not. I still can't believe it's that high. It's super impressive.
The other thing, and I really wanted to research this because what the lazy people do is they say, well, a quality start. My gosh, all you got to do is pitch 6 innings, give up 3 runs. That's a 4.50 ERA. What's so special about that? You know what? I would agree. Except there's one little issue with that. The lazy people who constantly say that, they're neglecting something pretty important. They're leaving that out. Most of the quality starts, the high percentage of the quality starts are much better than 6 innings, 3 runs allowed. Are there some of those? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to the numbers. How dare I? Over the past 5 seasons, Cardinals have allowed no more than 2 earned runs in 82% of their quality starts. So, I mean, if they go 6 innings, 7 innings, allow 2 runs, what we're gonna reject that as something positive? Like, in other words, unless they're Bob Gibson circa 68, it's all a bunch of junk. Oh, okay. Well, you need to apply that to your own personal lives when you start applying standards. The Cardinals have not given up in a quality start. 2019, they get a quality start. They've given up no more than 1 run in 56% of those starts.
That's impressive.
Oh, what's so special about a 4.50 ERA? The answer, there's nothing special. But you're lazy, and you're basically having everyone believe that every quality start is that. And nothing could be further from the truth. The other thing is that when the Cardinals, the last 5 years, their quality starts, their starters have gone more than 6 innings 55% of the time. The final thing here, because it's boring, I know, I do it to amuse myself. This is the ultimate backing of the quality start, the importance of quality start. You remember last year's team?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
71-91.
Uh-huh.
4th worst record since the National League went to 162 games. 4th worst winning percentage. That's 65, 66 years of baseball.
I remember.
When the Cardinals had a quality start last year, you know what their record was?
I do not.
33-15. Huh. But the smart people tell me the quality start's meaningless. It's junk. It's garbage.
Doesn't matter.
It's like throw it out and put it in a dumpster. It doesn't mean anything. That horrible team, when they got a quality start, they were 33-15. Oh, that must be a mistake. No, I can assure you it's not. When they didn't get a quality start, you know what their record was last year?
I do not.
Oh, a nice nifty 38-76. Oh, they don't matter. It's junk. The nerds made that up.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to continue to be insufferable when it comes to stuff like that. Much earlier in the show today, I alluded to something that Eno Cyrus wrote it for The Athletic. It was about Sonny Gray. I was really fired up by the signing of Sonny Gray, and I continue to be fired up about it. And the only thing that I'm bewildered by, even some people I respect in our business, I'll give you an idea. Seriously, I love Joe Sheehan. I revere Joe Sheehan. But Joe Sheehan's been kind of like, when it comes to Sonny Gray. And next time he's on, I'm going to ask him. I really don't understand why. The only thing Joe's a real big on innings, and I get it. So, and others. And I know Sonny Gray, not last year because he made his full allotment of starts, but he averaged about 25.5 starts 2 previous years.
Right.
Okay. You want to be at 30, but it's not like the guy was out for 3 months each year, you know. He's been pretty damn durable. I mean, how much do you downgrade a guy because maybe he's made over 2 years? Maybe he's made 7 or 8 or 10 fewer starts than you'd like. When he pitches, he's damn good, so you're still benefiting from it, right?
I would be happy with that. Yeah.
So Joe had him. Joe did an interesting thing in his newsletter. He ranked starting pitchers by tiers, Tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he had Sonny Gray at the top of the 3rd tier, and I don't know. I wouldn't have Sonny Gray in the 1st tier. And we'll look at this tomorrow, and I'll go into it deeper. I'm thinking it wouldn't be wrong to have him in the 2nd tier. But at the top of the 3rd tier, and when I say tiers with Joe Sheehan, the way you laid it out, these tiers are pretty short. They're not like 20 names.
Gotcha.
You
yeah,
know?
that makes sense. Okay.
And he has Miles Michaelis as a 4th tier starter, and I think he's got Lynn and Gibson lower. I think there's a lot of value in Gibson, and again, I'm really not sure why so many people overlook his actual value. He's more than just an innings guy, but his innings his innings eating reputation is actually true, and it's a big deal for a team that didn't get innings last year from the starting pitchers. But he also, I repeat to everybody, last 3 years he's got as many quality starts as Sonny Gray. Last year he had more quality starts than Aaron Nola, and last 3 years he's had more quality starts than Dylan Cease. But I keep hearing how they signed a mediocre guy. Same people that want to trade 20 Cardinals for Dylan Cease.
Right.
Okay. And I know the difference. Dylan Cease, big strikeout guy.
Yeah.
He's also a Tommy John waiting to happen.
I'm there with you on that one, too.
Anyway, let's talk about Sonny Gray. Eno Cyrus, he chose the best individual pitches in each category for last season, 23. Mm-hmm. His gold medal in the sweeper pitch went to Sonny Gray, who was second in the Cy Young voting in the American League. I guess those writers don't know what they're doing to vote him second. When he had the second best ERA in the first, he was number one in fielding independent ERA. That's the entire majors. Those writers don't know what they're doing. He's a tier 3 guy. Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. Eno said Gray's sweeper doesn't top the Stuff Plus leaderboard, but it's hard to argue with the best results in baseball. He threw that pitch 576 times last season.
Okay.
Batters hit .097 with a 118 slugging percentage, and they swung and missed at a rate of 41% when he threw the pitch. Eno says, is it a sweeper? Is it a slider? Is it a slurve? Various opinions, but it's probably helpful to separate this one and call it a sweeper because Gray throws multiple breaking balls, and this pitch consistently has had 3 more inches of sweeping movement than his curveball, 7 more inches of sweep than the other slider that he throws, and nearly a foot more sweep than his cutter. So when you hear that about how that pitch breaks, let's make sure we keep saying, well, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I will take that. I'm going to oversimplify it real quick.
Go ahead.
This is oversimplifying because you got great numbers. He's better than anything we've got in our head in quite some time. That's why another reason I'm like, wow, he's better than anything we've had in a long time here. But please go with the great numbers you got because that pitch, that's enough right there to convince me he belongs here.
And then you and I don't know if I can find this in a timely fashion, and I apologize, but he was talking about Jordan Hicks, and now he's got the again gold medal, silver medal, bronze. Jordan Hicks has got the bronze. He was the bronze medal winner for the best 2-seam fastball, sinking fastball. Talked about how he throws 100 miles an hour, how he gets a lot of ground balls with it, and he gets a lot of strikeouts with it. And Eno Cyrus, who knows this stuff cold, was saying how this is Jordan Hicks' 2-seam fastball, or sinker, if you want to call it that, is one of his favorite pitches to watch during a season. And he was saying, man, this guy's going into free agency at the right time because that pitch is a monster. And look, we all know about Jordan Hicks' fluctuations, but we also know when he finally settled into a high leverage role late inning, when they finally knew what to do with him, when they quit moving him around and just being stupid with him.
Right.
He really he went to another dimension with his pitching. I'd love to see him come back, and I'd love to see the Cardinals make that investment because after all, he already has had his Tommy John, and he's already gone through a couple of health things that are highly unlikely to resurface. I don't want to hear about Andre Palante, how he's reshaped his slider or whatever. Give me the gas. Give me a guy who can strike people out and get a high ground ball rate.
They're desperate for a right-hander with getting guys out. Just come in and say, hey, I'm going to shut this thing down for this inning.